Welcome back to the Kingdom Arena here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Riyadh season 100% kicked off, and kicked off the right way as well. Incredible main event, spectacular co-main event. But it's all about that man right now. You see on screens Artur Beterebiev, the current undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, after beating that man, Dmitry Bivol, by majority decision. He walks home with all the gold and that undisputed belt as well. Let's welcome in the guys once again. Liam Smith, Nicola Adams, Andy Lee. Did the right man win?
Yeah. Whatever result the other opponent would have felt hard done by. I thought it could have went either way, a draw. I thought Beterbiev or a draw.
Yeah.
From where I was
116, 112, pretty harsh.
Yeah, pretty harsh, but like some rounds are close, and if you favour the one fight, you can have a bit of a wider scorecard. But no matter what result, Bivol should feel hard done by.
Yeah.
And if Bivol got the fight, Beterbiev would have felt hard done by. It was that close a fight, but it was a fight that we all wanted, high level boxing, IQ, and two of the top light heavyweights.
And it felt like that as well. One thing I guess everyone's going to want again, Nicola, is potentially a rematch. When it is that good, when it is that close, when there is a divide between those two and the rest of the group, Boatsi, Benavidez, potentially David Morrell, why not go again?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see that again. It was so close. Like Liam said, it could have gone either way, blow for blow every round.
Yeah, it was tension from the very first bell, Andy. You almost was on your toes there watching two different styles. In the end, you almost just felt the pressure of Beterbiev, maybe got to Bivol a little bit in the end.
Yeah, listen, we thought the fight better be able to win. During the fight, I've had that much admiration for Bivol because I know what it's like to be in there with that much pressure. He had to dig deep, he had to box with a tremendous skill. In saying that, didn't mean he won the fight. As Liam said, this fight was extremely close and could have gone either way. It was a pleasure to watch the skill being shown, the heart, the determination. And there's no arguments.
Did you have it to Beterbiev?
No, I couldn't separate them. Honestly, I couldn't separate them. I couldn't separate them. Beterbiev getting the decision, he's earned it. Bivol gets the decision, he's earned it. Yeah. It was that close, and we'd love to see it again. We don't know if it's going to happen, but we would love to see it again.
Let's have a look at that pressure that we're speaking about. This is what Beterbiev did to Bivol. Bivol, against Zurdo Ramirez and against Canelo, he was on the front foot, but against Beterbiev had him on the back foot all the time, Liam.
He did, yeah, and a little bit like what we said with Opataya earlier on, that front foot pressure is mentally draining, and never mind the power that you're getting hit with also, Bivol had to stay switched on, every second of every round, and it's mentally draining, and he fought a great fight in doing that, but he had moments himself, but when Bivol's output slowed, and it was probably because of Beterbiev's, front foot pressure and, the constant moving on the back foot, because every time Bivol did let his hands go, he had good success, and when he was letting his hands go, he was winning rounds, but there was just moments in the fight where he was going too long a period with just moving, and that's not really a dig at him, that's a plus on Beterbiev's behalf because he's forcing the fight.
One thing Beterbiev's corner did do, going into round 11, you could clearly hear them say, you need a knockout to Beterbiev. He didn't get the knockout. So are we surprised he got it considering that? Nicola. I'm looking at you, Nicola. I'm looking at you for the answer here.
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't feel he needed the knockout to win. I mean, the knockout would have been good to just seal the deal. But what I did see was Beterbiev, the last minute of every round, it put the pressure on Bivol, because Bivol had started to tire. He'd been running around the ring, and that last minute, his feet had just slow and just stopped.
Sometimes as a coach, you have to be a psychologist. I mean, that could have been a bit of killology.
Yeah.
They might not have believed that, but that's what you say to your fighter because you know how he responds.
You was on commentary. Did you say on commentary, they told Beterbiev that after rounds 8 or 9?
They were trying to pick him up. They were trying to pick him up
Yeah.
all the way. Come on, you can do this. You're fit. You're healthy. You can do this. As if he was communicating something else like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Certainly didn't look tired in there, did he? Let's get the thoughts of Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren there on stage with Chris Mannix.
Thank you, Ada. Here with the promoters of this event, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Eddie, let's start with you. Very frustrated in the ring after the fight. What did you think of that decision?
I couldn't believe you didn't ask me, Chris. I know you got someone in your ear, but how can we not talk about what just happened in the ring? I mean, we want to just forget about it. We want to forget that in one of the biggest fights of our generation, the most important fight of Dmitry Bivol's life, you give him 4 rounds in that fight? It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, the whole corner, you heard in the 10th round, the corner said to him, you have to knock him out to win this fight. They got in the ring, they stood backed up to their corner, they knew Artur Beterbiev had lost his fight. Top Rank knew Artur Beterbiev had lost his fight. Then the word got around that Artur Beterbiev has won a majority decision. I'm absolutely baffled and disgusted of a scorecard to 116, 112. 115, 113, I don't like it. 8-4 to Dmitry Bivol. You want to give him 4 rounds. He boxed beautifully in there tonight. He boxed exactly the fight. And listen, I don't want to disrespect Artur, but these are 2 greats of our generation. But Dmitry Bivol should be the undisputed champion tonight, and that judge should never work again. 4 rounds in a fight of this magnitude is disgusting.
Frank, you have no horse in this race, but how did you see the fight?
I gave it to Bivol by a couple of rounds. I thought it was a close fight, but I gave it to him by a couple of rounds. But there is no way that score of 8-4 is just beyond ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. And, you know, we've seen decisions and fights get ruined by decisions over the years. And, you know, everybody around that ring thought that he'd won that fight, Bivol. Everybody thought he won it. As I say, I thought it was close, but I thought he won it by at least 2 rounds. And they should order a rematch. Well, I don't know, you order a rematch for unification, but there should be a rematch because it was such a quality fight between 2 guys. You know, it was technical. There was you know, grit, determination, brilliant skills in there from Bivol. I mean, his jab was superb, and there's times he was standing and trading with a puncher. And you know, and also you know, the last couple of rounds, he was obviously told it was sink or swim. They knew he had to win those last couple of rounds, and he certainly tried to do that. But I'm afraid the score in 8-4 is a joke.
Yeah, they were saying right there at the end of that fight, you need a knockout, Artur.
And they were right.
I think they were right in that moment. Eddie, it's no consolation, but the fight did live up to expectations. It was brilliant.
They're both tremendous fighters. I'm not saying that it was a runaway victory, a landslide for Dmitry Bivol, but when you're sitting at ringside and you've got, you go over to the TV side, even the ones who had it close had it to Bivol. There was no one on our row, no one behind us, no one the other side of it. No one had Artur Beterbiev winning that fight. I didn't even hear a draw. We just got in the ring, and the whole Bivol corner.
As we went up, I said, congratulations.
Well and we went over to the corner, and they're all celebrating. And I'm looking around at Beterbiev, and he's deflated. You know, they all know, even the guys who don't particularly like me, they knew they lost that fight.
Quickly, this was such a great fight. It seems like a rematch is natural. How likely do you think that is?
His Excellency has talked about that, but obviously, look, it's fresh, isn't it? It's just happened. But for me, it was just such a beautiful fight to watch. Dmitry was so smart. He got hurt a couple of times. He hurt Beterbiev a couple of times as well. He took so much on the gloves. All of the marking around here, you can see it's from the gauze on his tape. He just boxed a beautiful fight in a very tough fought fight. And I think, you know, when you get an opportunity like that and you box that way, to not get the decision, it really hurts. You know, I'm gutted for him. And to sit there and stand there and say, it's up to the judges, I did my best. I mean, fair play.
Yep.
But I ain't having it. I mean, I just, you know, 116, 112.
It's terrible,
18.
like, you know, you get a fight like that, 2 quality fighters, that it ends in controversy like that. It shouldn't do.
Yeah, a lot to digest certainly after this incredible fight. Ade, we'll go back upstairs to you.
Understandably, Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Dmitry Bivol, very, very upset. One thing Eddie spoke about there, and we touched on it as well, was the corner of Beterbiev. I think it was round 10 when they said, look, you need a knockout to win. Let's hear that corner as well, and I want you guys to react to it. Was it a G-up? Was it a bit of kidology? Or did they genuinely believe that Artur Beterbiev needed a knockout to win?
I think they were back of the head. Good job. You understand that? Understand what he said? You need a knockout with your legs low, short punches. We go for the big shot up here. Come on. All the belts. All the belts. That's your dream, baby. Big defense and big punch. Come on, Artur. 2 rounds, 2 little rounds. All your life you work for this moment. Come on. For this knockout. Come on.
See, we're hearing it there.
Come on, champion.
But I think it's a bit of a G-up, more than anything. I think it's a bit of a G-up.
You have to know what your fighter responds to. Oh, you're winning the fight, you're doing great. Maybe he takes the foot off the pedal a little bit. You're going into the championship rounds. You got to assume you're behind. Even if it's close, as a coach, you assume you're behind. So you tell your fighter you need to win these 2 last 3 rounds. or get a knockout. And if he doesn't get the knockout, you're still going to benefit from trying to win the round. So they might have believed it. They might have thought they might have needed it.
And what it did do, yes, he didn't get the knockout, Liam, but probably won those last 2 rounds.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and you'll never know the truth. They'll never tell you the truth either. You know, but it could have been a G-up because the fight still was in the balance for a lot of people with them championship rounds. So it could have just been choice of words for the G-up. And like Andy just said, if you don't get the knockout, you probably still win the rounds because you're going for the knockout. So I feel like it has worked because, you know, look at the result.
All right, let's get reaction from our commentary team as well. I think they had it very close. I know that Darren Barker and Barry Jones thought Dmitry Bivol was going to win this fight coming into it. Guys, look, I don't know if you scored it, but how did you have that fight? Do you think the right man won?
Yeah, my gut says Bivol won the fight. I wasn't scoring it round by round, but usually, you know, you have the feeling who you felt deserved the fight. Look, I can't argue. It was, you know, scoring is rather subjective. Do you like the effective aggression that Beterbiev was showing, or the fleet-footed, the nice flurry of shots that Bivol was showing? You know, it's what you like, but I just felt he'd done enough. But look, I'll tell you one thing, it sets up a fantastic rematch.
It really does, and I agree with that, and I thought Bivol won it by a couple of points in the end, but you couldn't argue. It was that sort of fight, and those close rounds can go either way, and that's why the one scorecard was way, way too wide. But there should be an inquest in why it was too wide, but I think either one was a winner. But I think the important part is, not for Bivol fans, is that we did get a winner for an undisputed title, because there still can be a rematch in a fight of that importance that was so close, and it lived up to all the hype. Everything about the fight, it was power, ability, bravery. It ticked every box, and it was just a privilege to be here.
You know, I just feel like there's a real negative tone right now from everybody on the broadcast. Because Chris Mannix, our official scorer, had it dead even. And I even said during the fight, to a couple times, you both nodded your heads, there were some of those rounds where it felt like 10-10.
Yeah.
You know that Spider-Man meme? We look at each other, did you give it to him? Did you give it to him? I mean, it could have, that's the way it goes. I don't think there was anything.
No, you're right.
Am I wrong? I mean, I don't feel like he was robbed. Of course, 116, 112 feels a little wide, but you could see some of those rounds that maybe you nicked it to Bivol, he nicked it to Beterbiev. I just feel like let's celebrate the fight, what happened in the 12 rounds, not so much the decision. The fight itself was absolutely brilliant.
And it was close enough to go, we repeat ourselves, but it was close enough to go either way. You all up there on the stage think the same thing. So you can't argue you get the winner, and that's it. But it was a fantastic fight. It showed everything we wanted from two quality fighters, and let's not forget that. And boxing grew tonight.
What we'll say, a lot on the gloves. You're just seeing the replay there. A lot were landing on the gloves of Bivol. He held his hands high and sort of covered up really, really well. He moved. I mean, one creeping through there, but it ebbed and flowed. There was a bit of everything from both. It was a fantastic contest. Really lived up to all the hype beforehand. They can be extremely proud of themselves.
Yeah, and according to our fan zone, I'm being told, and obviously it's not scientific, but those of you watching live on DAZN had it 53% for Bivol winning. Just so close. One judge did have it even. It was a 50-50 fight going in. I feel like it was a 50-50 fight going out.
Yeah, you'd have to say so. But again, like narratives in boxing, that sets up, which I'm sure we will see, a fantastic rematch.
And they show the qualities. Bivol, we said in the week, had to show bravery that he hadn't shown before, and he did. And Beterbiev had to show an engine that he hadn't really shown before, and he did. So they rose to the occasion. And for great athletes, you need it. In your biggest fight, you want your best performance. And I feel that's what it was for both.
Hey, Ade, I think these guys, me included, among us, we've called probably thousands of fights ringside. We will not forget this one of the best I think we've all seen.
Thank you very, very much. Well wrapped up, and well done on commentary as well. Fantastic job. All right, let's wrap this up as they are starting to pack away. They're going to kick us out very, very soon. I want to quickly go to what feels like hours ago on this card, Ben Whittaker, and that incident with Liam Cameron. Obviously, we've all watched the replay by now. How do we sum that up? You firstly.
I think we'll have to wait and see the outcome. We have to see what, I'm sure Ben Whittaker's gone to hospital over the ankle or the leg or whatever it was, but we'll have to wait and see what results come of it to make a clear opinion on it, because, you know, as we're seeing here, I don't see how the leg can be hurt, to be honest with you. If he got in the ring and his back was sore, or, you know, it was a bit of a strange one, and it's a bit of a sad one for us, to be fair, because it was really getting interesting, that fight. You know, it started, Ben Whittaker started very sharp, and then Liam Cameron turned the fight round, and you know, it was going to be very interesting to see how Ben Whittaker adjusted.
Ultimately, though, Andy, even before that incident, you almost felt like the tide was starting to turn and Liam was starting to fight the fight he wanted, and Ben was fighting the fight that Liam wanted. And we expected Ben to kind of dictate how this fight was going to be won or lost.
Yeah, it was a different approach from Ben Whittaker. He came determined to make a statement, I think, to get away from the showboating and show some intent that he's... But that kind of fed into the hands of Cameron. And it was turned into a real good check for Ben Whittaker, that fight. Cameron was really effective, heavy-handed fighter, going to the body and going to the head. And now, listen, it was still a very close fight, as the decision in the end proved. We don't know how it would have played out going down the stretch. But, listen, we'll have to see that again.
I was about to ask Nicola that. Do we need to see that again, Nicola?
Yeah, definitely. We need to see that again.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And fingers crossed we do as well. Remember, technical draw. Hopefully Ben is okay. If he is, then I think we should see that one sooner rather than later. Your old nemesis, Chris Eubank Jr., got the job done against Kamil Zaramata. We thought it was going to be a really early night because he knocked him down in the first round. Was made to work for it a little bit, but in the end, showed these different levels from Kamil.
He did, yeah. And, you know, in the end, when you take everything into consideration, it's a good performance from Chris. You know, he's got rounds in. He hasn't been in the ring for, you know, over
13 months.
Yeah, 13 months. So, you know, he'd have probably took that if you offered him at the start. And like I said, he had a few really good moments. His jab was good throughout. Maybe switched off a couple of times, took a few shots. But like I say, all in all, and if he's got this fight next, then that'll stand him in good stead.
Yeah, this is the one, right? I think this is it feels like this is already made, if I'm honest with you, right? I mean, Conor's come here just for this, and Eubank welcomed it as well, Andy. Look, I want to see him go for a proper world title. No disrespect to the IBO, but, you know, Alam Kanali, Carlos Adames. But if you're Eubank, do you go to Conor Benn rather than those two guys I just mentioned?
It depends where his motivation is. Is it to be a world champion, or is it to make as much money as you possibly can? Because those two things don't always line up. If he wants to be a world champion, he might go fight Janabek. I don't see him doing that, but if he wants to make a lot of money and have one of the fights that has been called for since he turned pro, and since Conor Benn turned pro, they've been put together. Someday these guys are going to fight. And it's got a great backstory, the history of them two themselves and also their fathers. So I want to see him fight Conor Benn, and I want to see how that plays out.
Do we want to see that fight at 160? Because, look, I mean, Eubank isn't going to cut to 157 again. I mean, he's not going to agree to that, is he? I mean, Conor's got to go to 160. Conor's never done that before. I mean, but that's the only place it can happen, right?
Yeah, 100%. That the fight's at 160, I'll tell you that now. There won't be no agreements. I think the situation, what happened with Conor, he lost the pulling power to be 157.
To dictate the way this fight goes.
Yeah, so it was always going to be 160 if they fought again. And, you know, he's got to really, Chris can't go any lighter than 160, you know, and Conor's chased the Chris fight since the last postponement. So, you know, I think the fight will be at 160. And, you know, if it's on, then let's look forward to it. You know, let's look forward to it once and for all, because I think we're a little bit bored of the...
Yeah, we just need that to happen now. It's been 2 years of build-up on that one. We're free, really. Let's get that one on. Finally, Nicola, the co-main event, we expected a bit of a war, and it was, but only for one round. Fabio Wardley showing that he's one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division, the way in which he completely destroyed Fraser Clark there.
Yeah, unbelievable punch power. I mean, that right hand that came over the top was brutal. I just really feel for Fraser. I've known him since we were on Team GB together. I really wanted him to get the win tonight, but it just wasn't to be.
All right, guys, one name each. Come on, we were arguing and debating about this before, who you'd like to see Fabio fight. Are you still sticking with Moses? Who said Moses? Was that yourself, Andy?
That was me, but I got a DM while the fight's going on, and it's actually a good suggestion.
Go on.
Kevin Lorena, the cruiserweight champion, now bridgerweight champion, who's fought at heavyweight, southpaw, and he fancies the task.
He fancies the task, Kevin Lorena. Big enough name, Kevin Lorena, for Fabio Wardley?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't mind seeing Jared Anderson or Baby Miller, maybe.
Oh, there you go. That one-ups your Kevin Lorena, I think that was. Big Baby. Both are called Big Baby, so either Big Baby, right? Either Big Baby.
Oh, yeah.
What an incredible night of boxing it was. The first event back in Riyadh season since June, and it delivered on all counts, didn't it? Yes, a bit of controversy. Fighters going over the ropes, but ultimately, boxing won tonight because we saw the two best light heavyweights in the world duke it out, and I think they're going to duke it out again. Commiserations to Dmitry Bivol. Congratulations to Artur Beterebiev, now joining the ranks of some of the best light heavyweights of all time. He is your undisputed light heavyweight champion. Congratulations to all the team as well throughout the week. We will see you in November 16th for Latin. This is going to be interesting. A Latin night over here as well. Remember, main event, Zurdo Ramirez versus Chris Smith. Should be a good one. We'll catch you then. From all the team, goodbye. And just like that, we're back at the magnificent, the beautiful Kingdom Arena.
They've gone Royal Rumble WWE style.
And still, Sky Nicholson.
What a right hand from Chris Eubank Jr. The job is done. On to the next for Chris Eubank Jr. Your main event fighters are here. They have thrown in the towel as Jai Opataya gives us a masterpiece. And down goes Clark!
Shoot hands!
It's over! The biggest stage possible for the biggest fight in boxing. Here we go! Oh, and a body shot. Undisputed belongs to Beterbiev!